Sean Callagy, 2020 vision, co-creating breakthroughs dreams, crushing fear and distortion. There are a few moments in your life in which you can talk to an icon and a person who profoundly impacted your life. And as I look back over the course of time, people that impacted me were Tony Robbins and Jay Abraham, and what their work stood for, with respect, with love for them, would have meant nothing if not for finding the work of Michael Gerber and the E-Myth. Because all of the empowerment in the world, all of the marketing concepts in the world, which are invaluable, amounts to nothing if it doesn't feed into a life where we create freedom from the tyranny of entrepreneurship. And none of these things were present to me in any way, shape, or form prior to meeting the work of Michael Gerber and E-Myth. So, Mr. Gerber, it is truly an honor and a privilege to talk to somebody who is impacted and changed the life of so many. So how are you, sir?
I'm wonderful, Sean, and thank you very much for that. I do, of course, know the two gentlemen you've spoken about. And of course, the E-Myth fits at the heart of everything that they speak about, work about, talk about, train, teach, etc., and so forth, because it is the heart space in which true entrepreneurship is born and grown. And it's been my inspiration over the past half century to speak that, be that, do that, teach that, train that, coach that, mentor that, yell that, scream that, and so forth and so on, to open the ears and hearts and minds of people who are so shut down from possibility that they are consumed by it.
And so, Mr. Gerber, I do not know how you came to this way of thinking and what caused it. I have some foundational idea of it, but if you wouldn't mind sharing, what brought you to this clarity and understanding about entrepreneurship and the need to bring this forward to the world?
Well, it's fascinating because it was simply one of those passing experiences that I never would have predicted to occur, because nothing that I had done prior to that led me to believe that I'd be interested in this field of conversation. But a good friend of mine owned a small advertising agency in Silicon Valley. And he asked me if I'd do him a favor and visit a client of his who was having difficulty utilizing their advertising system for producing the results that they wished to produce, and they just couldn't get there. So Ace, my brother-in-law, who happened to be that founder of that ad agency, Cuneiform, asked me if I would visit his client and see if I could have an impact on the way he thought. I said to Ace, I don't know anything about business. And given Silicon Valley, I absolutely can tell you I don't know anything about high tech. So how in the hell can I help him? And he said, Michael, you know more than you think you do. Just do it. Let's see what happens. So of course, given my nature, I said, sure. And I went to visit Bob, the founder and owner of this small startup high-tech company. Ace was with me, and Ace introduced me to Bob, and Bob said, hi, Michael. And I said to Bob, hi, Bob. And Bob said, so Michael, what do you know about my business? And I said, nothing, Bob. He looked a little uncomfortable, and he said, well, what do you know about my product? And I said, less than that, Bob. Now, obviously, Bob said, well, if you don't know anything about my business and you don't know anything about my product, how can you help me? And I said, I haven't a clue, Bob, but Ace thinks I can. And you're Ace's client, and we've got an hour to kill, so let's find out. So that's how I began this process, this E-Myth process. I began to ask Bob questions. Now, I started with the assumption that I didn't know anything about business. And the other assumption was that Bob did because he owned one. And the more questions I asked Sean, the more apparent it became to me that neither of those were true. I did know something about business. I knew that selling is a system. And I'd learned that in, of all places, selling encyclopedias door to door.
Wow.
And Bob didn't know that selling was a system.
Wow.
And as I discovered that, it struck me in the most profound way that, in fact, this was an absolutely stunning opportunity to do something I'd never thought of doing. And Bob said, "Can you help me create that system?" And I said, in my cavalier way, "Of course, Bob." So Ace picks me up and he said, "What happened?" I said, "Bob hired me." He said, "Hired you? How could Bob hire you? You don't know anything about his business. You don't know anything about high tech. What did he hire you to do?" And I said, "Ace, he hired me to create a selling system for him." And he said, "What's that?" I said, "Ace, if you knew what that was, you wouldn't have had a problem with Bob in the first place.
Wow.
Let's find out."
Amazing.
So Bob was my very first business client of all time.
Wow.
And Bob started out first Bob, and then Mary, and then Judy, and then Jack, and then Jim, different companies, Ace's clients. Each and every one of them had a systems problem. Ergo, the absence of one. And the more I dug in, and the more I dug deeply, and the more I understood, the more I began to realize the truth of the matter. That in fact, Ace didn't understand what a business was and how a business needed to work. And I absolutely began to. And that was the birth of eMyth.
Runner. And Mr. Gerber, I graduated from law school knowing I was going blind. And I had hoped to be a professional baseball player. I went to Columbia University, and I was a 4-year starter, captain of my team. And when that dream was shattered, because I was going blind, I went to law school because I didn't know what else to do. I had first person in my direct family line to go to college, and I had no money, no concept, no clue when I came out of law school, and thought that whoever works the hardest, just like and is the most skilled, has the best life and the most success. And I was working at this firm, and I discovered that there was 200 unhappy people, and there were 2 happy people. Why are those 2 people happy? And they said, because they bring in all the business and they have a system for it. And I said, I don't even understand. I literally did not understand that law was a business. And so I quit my job 6 months out of law school with no money, started my own law firm on my credit card, found Tony's work, Jay Abraham's work, your work, and said, I'm going to see if these people are full of bleep or not. And I started it. And in 2 years, I built a 40-person law firm. 2 years later, I sold it. And I couldn't believe it. No, people didn't believe it. And then I sold it. I built a training development company. And I realized, you know what? This is a little bit harder to duplicate. And I have kids. So why don't I build a second law firm? And I did. And I took it from 0 to 100 people in 2 years. And Mr. Gerber, thank you. Because I was able to take 3 months at a time completely off and not look at my cell phone, because I built systems and processes to run the business and to do things that were duplicatable. And I didn't mean it with all my heart. It let me be, my kids played 1,000 games. I missed 9 as I was headed towards blindness. And the life I've had, I dream of for everyone. So it is.
What you said is so critical, that I didn't understand that law was a business. A chiropractor didn't understand that chiropractic is a business. An acupuncturist didn't understand that acupuncture is a business. A sociologist didn't understand that sociology is a business. The minute you step in that office, it turns into something other than what you think it was.
Mhm.
And to the degree you understand that, and you know this, I'm only speaking to the heart of the matter, you know this, the minute you understand that, everything changes.
This feels like I'm a big Star Wars fan. I feel like I'm talking to Yoda, and that I'm Luke. Like learning is it is I feel very emotional, and so thank you. And I don't want to consume too much of your time. But what's the vision, the mission, Mr. Gerber, from here? You know, you've created so much, accomplished so much. Um, what else, if anything, do you still desire to create for this world?
Well, our dream is to transform the state of economic development services worldwide. Our vision is to invent the McDonald's of small business development services. Our purpose is that every single individual who groks what I've just shared with you can effectively become as successful as Ray Kroc at McDonald's. And our mission is to invent the system at the heart of all that. So we have created the methodology through which all of this will occur. And now on my 85th birthday, my wife and I have come to the point where we're now ready to be acquired. So we're seeking out that group of partners who are going to step up to the plate and acquire Gerber Works and eMyth worldwide, to take our system and apply it to every vertical market on the planet. And in preparation for that, we have now published 20 vertical market eMyth books: the eMyth chiropractor, the eMyth HVAC contractor, the eMyth attorney, the eMyth accountant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with co-authors who have applied the eMyth in their profession. We're now going to replicate that 315 times, 315 vertical eMyth books, 315 turnkey methods to operate every single one of those business format franchise systems throughout every industry on the planet. And in the process, to literally transform the state of business development worldwide. Coupling with that is our school. And so we've invented what we believe the principal entrepreneurial development school on the planet. It's called Radical U. It's 5 years. Year 1 is your dream, your vision, your purpose, your mission. Year 2 is the job, your client fulfillment system. Year 3 is the practice, your franchise prototype. Year 4 is your business, which is in fact up to 7 turnkey practices. Year 5 is the enterprise, which is up to 7 turnkey businesses, or 49 turnkey practices: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And in that process, we intend to teach millions of people on the street how to awaken the entrepreneur within them. Millions upon millions upon millions upon millions in our Radical U school. So those are our two very clear pictures as we set out to transform the state of economic development worldwide by awakening the entrepreneur worldwide, by transforming the way entrepreneurs think and act worldwide, and bringing that to the street to make it available to every single human being who says, how about me? How about me? How about me?
Well, it is clear to me that this is a very foggy and unspecific vision. I'm kidding. Well, from the mission to the vision to every specific vertical, all of it. And actually, a dear friend of mine is Joe Camberata, who I think was potentially involved in one of those verticals at some point. Joe's a dear friend and was a fellow platinum partner in the Tony world. So final, that's incredible. I love it because you're lessening suffering. And I like to say people want just three things. 'Cause Einstein said simple as possible, but not simpler. I think people want more money, or they want more freedom, and or they want more magic, which I would say all the different emotional states they want to feel. And that's what your work clearly provides for people, and it's provided for me. And your generosity with the American Foundation for the Blind, and this incredible opportunity to work with you. What prompted that, and would you want to share anything about that?
I was asked, and I said yes, and here we are.
It's brilliant and beautiful, and that's a year of mentorship with the extraordinary Michael Gerber. And I've had some beautiful people who are very interested in it, and I couldn't be more grateful.
Wonderful.
And thank you.
So, Sean, I'm sure you know exactly the kind of people who would see the acquisition of Gerber Works and eMyth as a significant step in the future toward the transformation of economic development services worldwide to a degree that has never been accomplished by any other entity that I know of, and I know just about everybody.
I agree.
That can bring it to the street for ordinary people to see it, feel it, taste it, and do it in a way that we have done with hundreds of thousands of clients over the past 44 years.
Well, number one, I'm one of those people that would be very interested in that conversation. Number two, I know others that would as well. And number three, I cannot believe, I can't see, but energetically, I cannot believe that you're 85 years old. That is, it sounds impossible. You sound 45 at most. Truly incredible.
Thank
really
you,
incredible. And a final note, I mean this, clearly you've inspired the work of Tony Robbins and so many others. I've had the
please say hello to Tony for me.
Well, I've had the privilege of speaking there 12 times. I'll be seeing him in a little over a week. He very generously contributed as well for the American Foundation for the Blind. And I will share this in complete humility, and just his quote, just so you could, whatever this means to you, it means. But I share this in humility as a student of yours, a student of his. He said to a room full of his platinum partners that nobody leads. There's no one who leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callagy. And if you don't know what he's up to, you need to. Tony, and how sparing he is with his acknowledgments and testimonials. He gave me that gift, and I intend to take that and move forward in the world to make it a better place. I look so forward with great honor and humility to continue to explore how I could serve and potentially impact your mission. And again, thank you, sir.
Oh, my delight, Sean. Looking forward to talking to you again.